Yeah.
I've always secretly wanted to have bad eyes so I could wear glasses.
I did too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Now I have them, and it's a little bit intense, the glasses.
Yeah, well, they're cool.
Yeah.
We good?
Speeding.
Good enough. Okay.
So it must be fun talking about a movie that everyone probably is just going nuts for.
Definitely. And a movie that I really liked doing, and I love the movie. Yeah. People seem to like it a lot. It's great.
Yeah, I don't think I've enjoyed a movie this much in, I don't know.
Really?
Honestly, can't remember the last
Good to hear.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Talk about going into this whole project, how it all worked with you and Mr. Payne and how it all came
well,
together.
you know, they sent me the sides. They didn't send me the script, and they said that he was interested in seeing me, and so I went and I met him, and I just read for it, and he's a guy that I sort of, idolized. I really loved his movies, and they came back and said he was interested in me, and I said, well, what's the part? And he said, well, it's one of the two leads, and I was like, you're pulling my chain around. I didn't believe it. I really didn't believe that he was really going to cast me.
You must have
quite a while.
You must have confidence in you at this point.
I do, but I mean, this was actually something that was kind of a dream to work with a guy like that. So, yeah, it was good.
And his words. How much of that is? I mean, he's obviously one of the greatest writers out there. Yeah.
I mean, I think that he kind of went off the script a little bit on this one, which was sort of an experiment for him.
Yeah.
And he let us ad lib and improv stuff. And Tom Church is great at that. And so he was letting it go off, but for the most part, it's his words.
Yeah.
Nothing got too radically changed. I mean, it did, but then he sort of, made us toe the line a little bit.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, given a little leeway, though, do you find yourself bringing
I
much
can,
into it?
sure. I mean, I have a tendency to stick to it, especially if it's something really well written.
Yeah.
I figure why start screwing around with it,
Yeah.
It's really well done. I mean, it's really carefully written. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Talk about this man you play, because he's such a wonderful character. You must have just kind of
Yeah, it's a great character. I mean, there's all different kinds of contradictory things going on all the time with the guy, so it was fun. And he's got this whole sort of pretentious thing about wine that's a big sort of cover for the fact that he's just a drunk, basically. And it was a great character. And the relationship between the two of them was actually one of the best things about it, because you're actually seeing the end of this guy's friendship. You're seeing it fall apart. You're seeing it's kind of its worst time.
Yeah.
And you're seeing them both kind of at their worst.
Sure.
Actually, and they kind of hate each other, and they sort of love each other. So the relationship is really great. It feels like it's one character. So
How did you guys make that work as actors into making that seem real? How much time do you guys have to spend together?
Not that much.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to him on the phone, which was, sort of terrifying at first if you've met Tom. He's real loud and intense, and he was amazing. I mean, he just goes, and he's a very different guy from me, and sometimes that works even better, And we spent about a week together before we actually did it, and it just works, And a lot of things about who I am and who he is fit the characters right off the bat, so it all it really worked.
Talk about the feel of this shoot, because it's different shooting up there and where you guys shot in wine country. Was it relaxing? Was it fun?
Very relaxing, and I have a feeling Alexander's movies are generally like that, because he's a very relaxed guy. But we were all drinking a little bit, and he would open a bottle of wine some point during the day, and everybody get a little liquored up.
Right.
It was good, It was very relaxed. It was very relaxed.
How much of the wine world were you already familiar with?
Nothing. I don't know nothing about it. Nothing. Nothing.
You drink the stuff?
Drink the stuff.
Yeah.
Drink anything put in front of me, but know nothing about wine, and I didn't really learn much either.
Right.
I learned more about what those people are like and the sort of the obsession and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't get too far into the wine thing. I mean, it's a whole ridiculous world.
Yeah.
It's just so complicated.
Now if this movie takes off the way it probably will, people for the rest of your career are going to be coming to you for wine quotes.
Oh, boy. It's going to be a big disappointment, because I don't know a damn thing about it. I'll drink it out of a box, and I'll enjoy it, It's not, I don't know anything about it.
Talk about this character and how it kind of fits into your gallery of characters over the last number of years. And do you see him kind of fitting in? Is there something, obviously there's differences.
Sure, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I suppose so. What was nice about this is, in some ways, this guy was more kind of normal than a lot of guys I've gotten to do. I mean, I got to have a sort of normal relationship with a woman, which was nice for me to do in a movie, not to have some strange fraught thing. It was, so all of that part of it was actually sort of different for me to do, kind of romantic stuff, and a challenge. It was actually kind of scary, but I had a great time doing it.
How much fun was that part of it specifically?
The romantic stuff?
Yeah.
I'm making out with Virginia Madsen. It can't be too bad. It was great. I mean, she was great to work with. So, I mean, in actual fact, it was great because I hadn't ever really done it before. So it was a new thing to sort of do.
In the physical comedy, you got to run around a lot.
It's true, we
do
did
some
get
crazy
to run
stuff.
around a lot. We did some very crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There's a thing where we were running down a really steep hill where they shot it with our doubles, and it was absurd because these guys had these like huge wigs that were patently fake, and they didn't look anything like us. So then we actually shot it, and it was harrowing. I mean, and we actually drove the car into the tree once and stuff like that. So we did some fun stuff in it. We got to do kind of everything in this movie.
Talk about making this guy likable, because there's certain aspects of him people wouldn't like, but man, I was rooting for this guy throughout.
That's
the whole
good.
movie.
I mean, neither of them are very likable. I mean, he's a real snobby guy and not the most pleasant guy and kind of mean to his friend. I like that. I mean, I like playing unlikable people. I like there being unlikable people in movies. It's always hard to keep them likable, but like I say, I think the relationship with the two guys keeps them both sort of light, and they kind of switch on and off which one's a jerk and which one's the kind of okay one, and it goes back and forth. And
Right.
yeah. So, but Tom's character is really dark, actually, and so he actually had a real challenge to keep the guy likable, and he totally succeeded amazingly.
Did you guys talk about that as you were doing it? Just to kind of make that line?
Yeah,
work?
I mean, it was something that we were worried about. I mean, I steal money from my mother, and I'm just kind of drunk and mean all the time. Yeah, I mean, it was a worry but ultimately, it's okay because it is meant to be funny, and it is a comedy. So the unlikableness of them was funny to some extent.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of jerks they could be.
Right.
So.
Adds the necessary edge, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, people have just been, over the last few years, just crazy about you, and you can't meet anyone who doesn't talk about you. Just, oh, man, this is the movie now, this is his Oscar, and man, he needs it. We love this guy. It's like, oh, people just seem to
really
be crazy about you.
Yeah, it's great. It's nice that people are paying attention. No, it's very nice. It's great. I got nothing to complain about.
How's it affected your personal life, your career over this last couple of years in terms of just how well things have been going?
You know, I mean, it's been a kind of steady thing for me all the time, and it's always kind of an incremental thing. Yeah, I suppose more people recognize me in, like, you know, airports and stuff like that. That definitely has increased. You know, I mean, look, I get considered for more interesting stuff than I ever did before. I don't necessarily get it, but I definitely get considered for stuff I never did before. So it's made a lot of differences, you know. It's great.
But to be kicking around for so long and now
I have been
being
kicking around
leading man kind of guy.
Yeah. Look, you know, I mean, I never expect anything to last very long. But to even get the opportunity once to do something like this, you can't beat it. You know.
And do you think about awards? You've had some of that. You ready for more acclaim and success?
Oscar's on the line. This is the one. No, I don't actually think about it too much. I hope things like that happen for this movie, for whoever it happens for, and in whatever way, because it's a movie that deserves it.
Well, a movie that's so well written, so well done across the board.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cinematography is great in this movie. It's really good. I mean, that guy shot it beautifully. Hopefully, you know, I hear a lot about Oscar calling Virginia Madsen. Hope she picks up the phone.
You've seen the finished movie, obviously.
I have.
Yeah.
She's great in it.
Yeah. A movie like this is hard to get a feel for what it's actually going to be like until you see it.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, with a guy like Alexander, you have a lot of confidence he's going to put together a good movie no matter what. You know, it is pretty much what I hoped it would be. It's more so, but it's, you know, it turned out pretty much like we all hoped it would.
Yeah.
This one you could tell would be a good one because he's so good at what he does.
What do you think this film ultimately says about friendship, about masculinity, about people? Those kind of things that are in there that you've.
I don't know. I mean, the movie to me actually seems to be about, I mean, it is about friendship, and I guess it is about masculinity in a lot of ways, but I was sort of interested in the way it's all about sort of fake facades and personas and all this kind of carefully constructed stuff that just flies out the window at the drop of a hat. It's so hard to hold on to.
Yeah.
And this guy they both kind of have these notions of who they are, and they're lying constantly throughout the movie to everybody. It starts almost immediately. At the top of the movie, they lie to everybody. They lie to themselves. They lie constantly. So it's kind of almost more about lying to me, the movie. I don't know. It's just something about lying, I guess. I don't know.
When you leave a character like this, do you look back at the character affectionately? Do you like to ruminate about that? Do you something?
Yeah, I mean, I look back on the whole experience of making this movie affectionately. You know, I mean, it's hard to separate them out in this case because the whole thing was just such a pleasure to do. You know, but it is a good character. I mean, he is not a bad guy. This character at all. I do look back at him affectionately. He's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have fun here when you come to Toronto?
I have a good time wherever I go. Toronto is an okay town. I like it a lot. I just spent a lot of time here. I do enjoy it. It's nice people.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.